Gonna turn the lights out.
Hey everybody, this is Natasha from MakeupInSFC. Welcome back to my channel. In case you couldn't tell already, this is going to be a prom look. And I remember the time of prom, I remember the lead up to prom. If you really cared about prom, then, you know, all the hype and all the magazines were showing you like, what is your style? What do you want to go as? Retro, edgy, girly, whatever. And it was a little overwhelming when I was like 16, 17 or whatever old I was. And I remember I didn't know how to put on makeup. My cousin had to put it on for me. And so this tutorial is going to be geared more towards the people who don't necessarily put on makeup on an everyday basis. It's going to be really simple and easy, something to enhance your features and to really just jazz up what you naturally have. So if you'd like to see how I did this makeup look, then please keep on watching. A few tips and tricks that I want to give you guys, especially if this is going to be your first prom or maybe your special occasion, you definitely want to do a few things. For example, 1, hair removal. If you are deciding to take off any hair, make sure that it's 1 to 2 weeks before the actual event, because you never know how you're going to react. You could have bumps, you could have rash, you could become really red, and that's something that you don't want to have to work hard to cover up for the event. Because I know that I have had like the red mustache mark over, and it's not cute. It actually really hurts to put makeup on top of that. Tip 2 that I want to give you is if you don't necessarily wear makeup on a regular basis, samples are your best friend. Go to Sephora, go to a MAC counter, go to any of the counters at Macy's or Nordstrom's. They will be happy to give you a sample of a foundation, of a primer, of a mascara, whatever you need. That way you don't necessarily have to buy all of these makeup things that you're never going to use again if you don't regularly wear makeup. I get little samples of foundation if I'm doing makeup on someone else, or samples of primers, samples of mascaras. These are the things that you can skimp on, especially if you're going to wear these things for that one night. And then you can maybe splurge on a lipstick. That's something that I think you can invest your money in. And there are tons of things at the drugstore where you can spend $4 or $5. It's not like you're breaking the bank. Tip number 3, definitely practice your makeup. You want to practice your makeup so that you're not just flubbing through it the first time through the night of the event. You want to practice it so that you got it down packed. Especially if you want to practice for flash photography, you want to see, you know, where the contours of your face are. You want to practice, that way you can get the technique down for your face shape, because seeing it on someone else like me is going to look different on you. So you definitely want to play around to see what works best for your face. Tip number 4, just have fun. You know what, prom pictures are, you're supposed to look back at them and be like, oh, dang, that sucked, you know? Even to this day, like, I got lucky because I had someone older than me show me the way. So think of me as your big sister showing you the way. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this simple tutorial, because it really is all about having fun and enjoying your time with your friends. So I hope you enjoy your prom. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Hey everyone, so the first thing we're going to do is prime our face, and I really encourage you to prime your face, especially if you're oily doily like me, because this really ensures that your foundation will stay all day long. I like to focus that on my T-zone and on my cheek areas, and especially my nose, because my nose is a oil monster. Now we're going to use foundation, and the foundation that I'm going to use is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, and I'm going to dot that all over my face and use a stippling brush to spread that all over. Now, if foundation is intimidating, a thing you can use is tinted moisturizer. You treat it like lotion and spread it all over your face. And to make sure that it lasts all night, you can just set it with a powder. Now, what you're focusing on is just evening out your skin tone, making it look like your skin but better. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting a light layer of foundation on. That way it doesn't look too cakey and it doesn't make you look like a completely different person for your prom. Another important tip is that you want to spread it all the way down your neck, that way it doesn't look like you have a mask or a line of demarcation, as they say, and on your ears just in case it's a darker color. Now we're going to conceal. This is something that's completely optional. If you don't have dark circles, then you don't have to worry about this. For me personally, I like to highlight under my eyes, so you can use one of these products or both of these products or something similar. I have a full video on how to contour and highlight, and I explain why I highlight in these places, but definitely check that video down below. Here I'm just using a sponge from Real Techniques to blend that in. You're welcome to use your fingers or one of those makeup wedges that are just super cheap and that you can run underwater and do the same thing. The reason why I use a wet sponge is so that it will blend and meld everything onto my foundation seamlessly. Next, I'm going to set my concealer right away because you don't want it to crease, and I'm using a ELF blush brush and this ELF HD under eye setting powder just so that I can ensure that it will last all night. Then I'm going to go back to my Fit Me foundation in the setting powder and set all of my foundation and everything else around it. If you're a dry person, then you may not necessarily have to set your foundation, but because I am preventing oil breakthrough, I'm going to set everything. Now the next thing I'm going to do is bronze my face. Now this isn't going to be like a super in-depth contour. This is just going to start to define the perimeter of my face with a little bit of bronzer, warm up the skin, because right now my face looks pretty flat because of the foundation. As you can see, I'm using this on a big fluffy brush, and this one happens to be from Sephora because it gets through a lot of space quickly and it distributes the product in a nice fluffy way so it doesn't look like you're putting on too much. Now it's time to prime our eyelids. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Fergie base, and I like to let that sink in while I do my eyebrows. I'm using the LA Color medium brow kit, and I'm using powders because it's a little bit more forgiving. If you make a mistake, you can just brush it out. Another tip, if you do not have brow powders per se, then you can just use a eyeshadow that's similar to your brow hair colors or 1 to 2 shades lighter. And as you can see, I'm just following the natural shape to my brows. If you'd like to see a more in-depth video of eyebrows, I have 2 on my channel. I haven't done one with powder, but it's pretty much the same concept with pencil or pomade. So I'm going back to my bronzer and I'm going to use it as my transition shade. So let's say you don't wear makeup all the time, you don't need to buy extra products, just use the ones that you have in a different way. So I'm using this with a big fluffy brush from Morphe, and then I'm going to take this cream eyeshadow from the lash line all the way up to the crease, and I'm creating this really easy smoky eye. Now for smoky eyes, it's all about the gradient. So I'm using this darker color closest to the lash line, and then it's going to fade into that bronzing powder we put into the crease. So to blend in between, I'm going to take more of that cream eyeshadow on a blending brush, and I'm just going to start to blend in between the 2 colors so that it looks a little bit more seamless. Now going back to that bigger blending brush, I'm just taking whatever's left, or you can add a little bit more bronzing powder just so that you can continue to blend. Now I'm going to take that cream eyeshadow under the lash line so that it creates balance. And then if you're ready for wing eyeliner, I think a really good option is to use powder. Because if you get stuck using liquid or pomade, it's kind of difficult for your first time. Again, powders are more forgiving, and I'm using that on an angled brush, and I'm just lining the lash line and then just following where my eye shape goes to create the wing. Taking a little bit of that dark black eyeshadow at the bottom too, so to create balance. Now, if you don't want to use false lashes, you don't have to. Just use a really good mascara, 2 to 3 coats, something that's volumizing and lengthening, and it'll look exactly the same. So here I'm curling my lashes and using the Jordana Best Lash Extreme. If you're someone who needs to hold that curl, you can use something with a waterproof formula, but I'm good with this one and it lasts all night. Now for the fun part, lip colors. So I give you 3 choices here. You can use something bold and red, and this is something that looks very classic, especially if you're going for that retro look. For my sweet girls who want to have a nice pink shade, this is a good choice. It's vibrant but still muted, and it has that sort of like bubblegum pink look. Or for my no fuss girls, this is a nice nude, and you know what, when it fades, it doesn't look as bad as the other ones when you need to touch up. It fades in a little more natural way, and so this is a beautiful color if you want something that's no hassle, fuss free. Now, there are some girls who don't even want to do blush, so you could leave it at just the bronzer, or you can do something with a little bit blush on the apples of your cheeks and a little bit of highlighter if you want to get fancy. And here I'm putting a little touch of that highlighter in the inner corner. And if you can tell, there's a slight difference. You can see it's a little bit more rosy and a little bit more lively in the second picture. And don't forget, you can have those other choices. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Enjoy prom!